eyes and wounds, go stoop down there, take him in the hand and clean him and take care of them, the compassionate. Compassion is a Christian virtue. It's a Christian virtue. Women should practice that. Long suffering, they have to have it. But if meekness is the other counterpart for man, long suffering. Oh, women have it, long suffering. The child start crying, middle of the night. Oh, the father is getting angry. Don't you keep the child? I can't sleep. That's the selfish man. But she takes care of the baby, try to put the baby crying and carrying the baby all night and maybe all day. That's what long suffering. And sometimes a drunken husband, but she's so long suffering, he comes home unreasonably mad and demands things that, he should not be, but she is available and she nurses to his wounds and all that, that's a great virtue. I'm not saying that man is not good because he is causing problem, but she is great. But some women will walk away, forget about it. So that's compassion is, long suffering is such a virtue, Some husbands are only to create problems sometimes, I think. Criticism on everything. Criticism on this, criticism on that. The wife, she is long suffering, she hears them, not respond anything. In her heart she is crying and sobbing and praying, but towards her husband she still has a smile, that sort of good works. Bible says women ought to adorn themselves not with gold and silver and all, but with good works. Good works. If you don't do a good works in 24 hours, don't go to sleep. Helping somebody, doing some good, feeding the hungry or clothing the naked, visiting some orphans, maybe old people home, destitute people, whatever you could do in your situations, some good works you should do. Every good woman will always cook food for an additional person. If somebody hungry come, you can give it to them. If they don't come, you can take it and eat it for the supper, But always ready. Yes, you get a new dress from somebody, you give one of the old dress to poor people. After all, you are living with whatever clothes you are having, and somebody gave you. Yes, that's a good formula, I tell my wife, my children, all I said that. You get the new one, you give an old one, some poor people come and ask sometimes, give them. It's good for them. It's not damaged, but you got new one, you give one. Interestingly, you give one, Lord will give 2 or 3. Then you have plenty to give also. Good works is necessary. Yes. I was blessed by a mother who was dedicated her life to good works. Yes. Honestly speaking, I myself have not seen too many other women sold out for good works like my mother. My father sometimes get angry at my mother. Yes. Very angry, I have seen. Because she will sometimes take children's bread and give to the poor. That's that sort of a woman she was. But we are fortunate that, it brought so much blessings for us. So, good works, hospitality, a woman's virtue, hospitality. Of course, in the Bible it's shown as a man's virtue because the classic example of hospitality is Abraham entertaining the elders. But we see how Sarah cooperated. In second, she made the bread and cooked the beef with the calf. Of course, the servant may have done it, but no complaint, nothing. She stood behind Abraham as they were entertaining the guests. So she was there wholeheartedly. Yes, hospitality is a great. Read through the New Testament. You can come across so many wives and so many families that were given to hospitality. You know what that word means, hospitality, in Greek? It means love for strangers. It's a philoxenos or xenophilia. These words, xenos means stranger, phileo means love, love for strangers. That's when your closest friends come, you entertain them. Is it's a part of hospitality, but not the classic hospitality. Somebody that you have never seen, somebody dropped at your door, how you will treat them. Just like Abraham, he didn't know who those people were. Only later he knew one of them was Jehovah and all. He had 3 people passing through, because Hebrew says not knowing, unknowingly he entertained. So that's what it is. So always show hospitality, If Jesus Christ would come to your home, how you will treat, the same way you need to treat others. Sometimes it may be a beggar. Don't give beggars spoiled food. Give to beggars good food. They're human beings. Sometimes, somebody come hungry, we give him a tract. That part is good, but don't send him away with the tract. He's not going to eat the tract. Give him food to eat and then a tract also. Yes. Story is told of Abraham. How a beggar came to Abraham and asked Abraham, I'm hungry. So Abraham is a very hospitable man, so he gave him good food. But then this man lifted the food and shown to the sun god, and then Abraham chased him. You idol worshipper, in my home, So the man left the food and ran away for life, So after half an hour, sometime, God appeared. This is one of those apocryphal stories, God appeared to Abraham and said, Abraham, yes, Lord, I sent you a person, poor and needy and hungry. Where is he? Lord, I gave him food, but he's an idol worshipper. He worshipped the sun and he chased him out. Abraham, how many years I suffered you when you were an idol worshipper? You were making idols and selling. That's what Joshua said. How many years I suffered you? You couldn't bear that man for half an hour until he eats that food for his hunger? So the apocryphal stories say Abraham ran after that man, found him and brought him back to home, treated him well and gave him food, asked forgiveness to him. Yes. Love for strangers. These days I know that you cannot get anybody at home because, people are much different. You don't know why he came. He may have come to take your head off. But that does not exempt us from hospitality. That doesn't exempt us from hospitality. You be safe, true, but you be hospitable. So these days it is safe hospitality. Those days you could do more free hospitality because people won't do that one, But these days people will do, but still hospitality. So sisters, practice hospitality. Even if you don't eat, feed a hungry person. Kindness is a very feminine virtue, kindness. Kindness could be shown in many ways. Sometimes it's a word, a kind word. A kind word. Just whisper a kind word in their ears. Sometimes say, all right, we are all human beings. God will forgive you. God will strengthen you. I love you. I'll pray for you. Sometimes maybe your kindness may be sitting with them for an hour, weeping with them in their sorrow, maybe providing them something. But kindness is a heart attitude, where your heart is weeping for the other person's, sadness or circumstances. A romance. It's a romance. I made a statement earlier that men are not interested in romance. They are interested only in sex. That's it. But women needs romance. They are not interested in sex, women. You know that? Romance. Sex is the climax of the romance. Sex without romance is women not interested. That only the prostitutes are interested for money. No. So man you know, has, but then some women have no romance, you know. No, they don't know romantic, you know. At least in Hinduism, Radi is a name, you know. Lot of people are called Radi. You know what Radi means? Radi means romance. Yes, Radi Vigaram, you know, the sexual feelings. You know. So, you know, they're not ashamed to call somebody Radi. Yes. But romance is a very Christian virtue. You know, you read through the book of Song of Solomon, you can see that how she was excellent in romance and all that, you know, yes. So that's a good virtue. A woman ought to have these virtues, you know, it's a total of these things, total of these things. By the way, romance is something that limited to the bedroom, not outside the bedroom of your married life. Yes, outside romance is ugly. No. No romance outside. It's between the husband and wife. Yes. So affection plus submission plus faithfulness plus compassion plus long suffering plus good works, hospitality, kindness, romance, etc. I could add many more, you know. All these things. This is what we have to cultivate in our girls, and this is what you have to now work hard to cultivate in you. Yes. If you are successful in cultivating, then you become that, you know, perfect woman in the Bible. You look at Proverbs chapter 31, there is the perfect woman. She has all these things. She has all these things. Every one of them. It's there. Yes. So we need to. The book of Proverbs talks a lot about romance, and it talks about evil romance of prostitutes and evil women and all that, you know, men going after them. But then says, young man, enjoy in your wife of the youth, and all these things, you know. It's there. It's there. Yes. Well, you may have something to ask, I'm sure.
Just saved many men by saying romance is a feminine virtue.
Yeah, romance is a feminine virtue, yes. You know, nobody will say, he is a romantic person. No, she is a romantic woman, you know. See, man practices romance by force, means romance is natural for woman. That's the difference. So when that which is natural for a woman, when she doesn't have, there's something. Men cultivate it. They cultivate it for their wives. Yes. For their wives. Men are so busy, you know, they are so busy, they will say that I got only 2 minutes. You know, just like the people go with 10 rupees to the 50 rupees to the prostitute, says that, you know, my train is in 5 minutes, take it. That's possible only for men, that's not possible for women, no. No, they want to sit down and talk and look and smile and touch and feel and all those things. The climax of that one is what? They will say the sexual relationship, the consummation. Man is not like that. So this is something you don't need to teach your children, okay, boys. So nobody should go and start, I'm teaching my son to be romantic, you know. No, you don't need to. They will learn. But there come a time when you have to teach them, you know, when they are preparing for marriage, then you have to teach these virtues. You don't need to teach them how to practice all these things. There are books available. So husbands provide maleness to the wife, while wife provides femaleness to the man. In every man there is a place God has created where this femaleness only can fill there. And in every woman there is a cavity where the maleness could come. And if a woman doesn't get that maleness from the man, then it's a rough marriage. That's where it's a rough marriage. They complain that, you know what, he doesn't love me, he is selfish and he is so cruel and he is so unkind and he is so this and irresponsible, doesn't provide, and you know, this and this complaint goes. But when the man provides the maleness, woman is blessed because she feels satisfied. The same, when the woman gives this femaleness to the man, what blessed family life. So, women, you create femaleness. Yes. You may go to some older women, married and living happy family life, and they tell them, teach me these things. They will. There's a lot to do that, Hospitality assumes that you are a good cook. You have to cook food. Now that's how to eat it, right? Yes. So make sure that. Yes. So God created man in such a way that he could have purpose and meaning in life only when a wife gives him the female virtues. And God created the woman in such a way that she could have purpose and meaning in life only when a husband gives her this maleness. Every woman, most every woman is expecting for a man after marriage to be a leader. When she doesn't see him a leader, he's depending on her, and well, then the marriage is a failure even right there. The man has to be the leader. Leader doesn't mean showing head weight. No, that's not. Leader means what? Taking the initiative to start the family, to start the fire going, to start the conversation going. You are giving love out, you are living your care out, you are protecting your wife and all those things. Yes. Some women, as I said, that they have a lot of animus. The masculine characters in a woman is called animus. And some men have a lot of anima, the feminine characters in a woman. Well, you have to watch. Some amount everybody will have. Some amount everybody will have. But if the man is having too much, anima, well, that marriage will be very difficult to be a success. Sometimes, you get married and all that, and then the man approaches the woman like another woman would approach the man. Well, so she said, what is this? He's not a man. I don't expect that. The same with the woman also. If she approaches him like a man would approach him, why you say there's something wrong? I thought I married a woman. She deals with me like a man. She talks like a man. So authoritative. And she wants to decide everything. And it's very strange, isn't it? It's very strange. Well, if you are a strong, woman in the wrong way, there are right way and wrong way. The wrong way strongness is when the masculine characters you display. She's very able, very decision making, she's a leader, she's a ruler, that sort of a thing. And he is very weak, he's so feminine, so affectionate, so submissive, and so all these things. Boy, that's terrible. It's very difficult to deal with an animus woman sometimes. Yes. I can never forget, I don't know whether I told the story here, I said many stories. One time I had to deal with an animus woman. She is full masculine. But she was very able. She is one of those women who, encroached upon government land and 15-acre land and fought with elephants and wild animals and all that sort of thing, That's the only way she could. Her husband died and then she had 5-6 children and, in these forest areas and all. Well, she was a woman who once went into a police station and slapped the circle inspector right on the cheek. You know, that sort of woman. And I have baptized this woman's son. And she was looking for me. Literally, I was told that, you know, Charity is looking for you. And I prayed, God, you know, I'm not afraid to have an encounter with her, but it has to be at a place where, you know, I could handle her, you know, in the right way. Not in the bus, because in the bus she will caught hold of me and slap me and something, you know. And she speaks so loud, you know, you can hear very easily, you can hear half a kilometer away her. That sort of. So she was going around, and I want to see that pastor who baptized my son, you know, that son. So one day I was, you know, in the neighborhood where she is living, visiting with one of her brothers there. We have a church there, and then I heard this noise. So I was in a home of a man called Jos. I said, Jos, what is that sound? I said, Charity varunundu. She is coming. And he said that, why don't you get inside the house and hide? I said, no, I'm not a man who will hide like that. No, I'll stand here. So, you know, as the road comes and she has to walk through the what do you call, the ground of the house, the muttam, they say that. So there are 4 steps on the muttam, only this wide. I stood my feet apart on the last step like this, because she cannot go. She can come up to the 3rd one, but the 4th one she has to pull me, then only, you know. So I stood there. So she came and looked up and said, Joseph, when Aroda. Chedathikku kaanonu paranju party thaneyanu paranju. I said that, you know, this is the party you wanted to see. Are you the one who baptized my son? Nee aandoda ente mohane snanaപ്പെടുത്തി. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, ചന്തപ്പെണ്ണുങ്ങൾ സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് ശബ്ദം താക്കാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. നിങ്ങളാണോ എൻ്റെ മകനെ സ്നാനപ്പെടുത്തിയെന്ന് ചോദിക്കാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. എനിക്കങ്ങനെ ചോദിക്കാൻ അറിയില്ലെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ഞാൻ പഠിപ്പിക്കുകയാണ് എൻ്റെ ജോലി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ദാറ്റ്സ് മൈ ജോബ്. സോ ഐ ആം ഗോയിങ് ടു ടീച്ച് യു ദാറ്റ്. നീ എന്നെ പഠിപ്പിക്കുക, ഞാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ചേ പോകുന്നു പറഞ്ഞു. So we heard this. She came down. She's, you know, lowered her voice and then she said, ഞാൻ പോവാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. She said, first time or last year, she yielded to, you know, before me like that. So they were all surprised that this never happened. For her character, she should have slapped me. So in 5 minutes, I wanted to go to her son's house, you know. So I have to go through her house. Yeah, because her son's house is next. So they all said, Joe said, don't go. She's very angry. I could see that in the face. You know, she may do something there. I said, nothing will happen, Jose. I will go. As I went there, she was standing in the front of she saw me, she got inside the home. I went. Over. That's all. Everybody in the community was afraid of that woman. Everybody. I mean, she is a person who slapped the circle inspector. Such a person. But what is meant is, you know, if you are a man, you should know how to handle a woman. Yeah. You haven't read Shakespeare's Taming the Shrew? Yeah, well, that's sort of the story, you know. If you haven't read it, you have to go and read it, you know, Taming the Shrew. You read it? Yeah, it's good, nice. Yes. So what I meant is, that's not the way a woman should be. You know, if she had problem, she could ask, you know, are you the person who baptized my son? You know, well, I have objection to it. You know, we were traditionally belong to this denomination. You know, I didn't like it. You know, or something she can express, and I will talk to her nicely. But shouting at and all these things, no. So develop feminine characters. Develop feminine characters. It's good. A woman with feminine characters is beautiful. A beautiful woman with masculine characters is ugly. Honestly. You know, I believe every woman is beautiful. Don't you think? I think so. But what destroys their beauty is their character. Yes. So develop this, I will say. For good marriages, you need to develop this. Yes. So any man could be won by giving him womanliness. Any woman could be won by giving her manliness. Not all men have manliness, not all women have feminineness. And many a women are simply grown-up girls, and many a men are simply grown-up boys. Our Indian system of marriage making does not take into consideration the joining of a male man with a female woman. They consider beauty, money, education, and not these feminine characters and these masculine characters. I think we need to correct that. We need to correct that. What happens often in making is maleness plus maleness is equal to fight. The man's maleness and the woman's maleness, there is constant fight, because who could have the upper hand? Or womanliness with womanliness is again fight. Right formula is M plus W is equal to good family. That's masculine virtues joined with feminine virtues make a good family. In some marriages, the man may be male, but the woman is not female. Such situations are terrible. Through continuous counseling, sometimes the problem could be a little bit improved. Some men are brought up in such a way that they are not trained to give the manliness to women, and vice versa. You know, first 3 sons, they wanted a daughter, then fourth also a daughter. The fourth also, they have 3 boys and they wanted a girl, and the fourth one is also a boy. So what the parents do? Oh, they have a hair parted and ribbon put on and a chain put on and all these things. It gives him the impression that you are a girl. Even they will call also something, and all that thing. So he is growing up thinking that he is a girl. So naturally when he grows up, he wants a partner that has to be a boy. So it's an homosexuality, enter into a boy going to a boy. Or some parents wanted a boy so much, 3 girls, 2 girls, and the next one also a girl. So what they will do? They will put on boys' dress and everything, and they will call Kalakutta, this, that, and all that. And then she thinks that she is a boy. So she will go and marry a girl. So there is the problem. So parents also are responsible for all these things. Haven't you seen boys dressed up like girls? And girls dressed up like boys? Never do that. Never. A boy has to be treated right from the moment of birth. The boy has to be brought up like a boy. Whether dressing, haircutting, anything. And the girl has to be brought up like a girl. The image of the masculine image must be given to the boy, and the feminine image must be given to the girl. So parents do these mistakes, a lot of mistakes. And that then later in life, what happened? Somebody is harvesting the ill results of this. Somebody is sighing and say that, oh God, what did happen? Yes, so this should not be. Should not be. So such things will lead the men to anger and physical abuse, depression, suspicion. In a good biblical marriage, the man and his wife will be sharing everything they have, will be encouraging each other, will be sharpening each other, will be appreciating each other, will be correcting each other, will be, fellowshipping together. And, that's a wonderful life. When such sharing does not happen, the family and marriage is failed. Now we come and ask the question, why God established marriage? You have any questions in what I said, You definitely have, why God established marriage. At least I wanted to talk about why God established marriage, and then come to the practical thing, how could you find your partner, what's God's will for you, and all that sort of thing, But why God established marriage? Anyway, any questions on what I said? Anything?
Some of these qualities can be permanent, like for example, compassion
Yeah.
need not be a permanent.
Yeah, man could also be very compassionate, but a woman has to have compassion. That's my point. It's not that